David's invitation, he ate and drank with him, and David made him drunk. But the evening Uriah went out to sleep on his mat among his master's servants. He did not go home.
Okay, 14 through 21. Any volunteers? Any volunteers? Okay.
In the morning, David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it with Uriah. In it, he wrote, "Put Uriah in the front line where the fighting is fiercest. Then withdraw from him so he will be struck down and die." So while Joab had the city under siege, he put Uriah at a place where he knew the strongest defenders were. When the men of the city came out and fought against Joab, some of the men in David's army fell. Moreover, Uriah the Hittite died. Joab sent David a full account of the battle. He instructed the messenger, "When you have finished giving the king this account of the battle, the king's anger may flare up, and he may ask you, 'Why did you get so close to the city to fight? Didn't you know they would shoot arrows from the wall? Who killed Philip, son of
Jerubbesheth. I can't pronounce some of these either.
Didn't a woman throw an upper millstone on him from the wall so that he died in Thebes? Why did you get so close to the wall?' If he asks you this, then say to him, 'Also your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead.'"
Okay, so if we can finish up 20 through 27, somebody volunteer. Somebody on this side of me. Camron. With me.
The messenger set out. When he arrived, he told David everything Joab had sent him to say. The messenger said to David, "The men overpowered us and came out against us in the open, but we drove them back to the entrance to the city gate. Then the archers shot arrows at your servants from the wall, and some of the king's men died. Moreover, your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead." David told the messenger, "Say this to Joab. Don't let this upset you. The sword devours one as well as another. Press the attack against the city and destroy it. Say this to encourage Joab." When Uriah's wife heard that her husband was dead, she mourned for him. After the time of mourning was over, David had her brought to his house, and she became his wife and bore him a son. But the thing David had done displeased the Lord.
All right, so I'm going to start off with just kind of using a little bit of an analogy of just kind of what happened in my life, somewhat. When I played baseball from 4th to my junior year. From around 4th grade to my sophomore year, I kind of had, I wasn't the big rah-rah, loudmouth kind of guy, but I was pretty competitive, and I kind of had this attitude where I wasn't invincible, or I wasn't unstoppable. I didn't have that idea. But it was something where I had something to hang my hat on, where it was, I pitched a little bit in baseball, And one thing through my sophomore year that I had going for me that I could hang my hat on was I never gave up a home run. Well, one night in summer league, I started pitching. We went to Adair County. They're terrible in baseball. They're awful. And, I started pitching that night, and I pitched through about maybe the first 8 batters, 7 or 8 batters. I can't remember how many it was. But all of a sudden, I threw a pitch, and this guy he hit it. And, I turned around and I watched it go. I'm watching it go, and I'm thinking there's no way it's going to go out. Nobody hits home runs off of me. And apparently, it went over the fence, and it was a home run. First home run I ever gave up. And, this has nothing to do with the story. It made me so mad because the guy was running around the bases, and normally you're supposed to act really casual. This guy was celebrating like crazy. I wanted to nail this guy in the back next up to that, but I didn't. I refrained. But, that whole night, this guy was he owned me. He was hitting to the fence. He was hitting them everywhere. And in a way, it kind of brought down my pridefulness and my selfishness. And I think that's kind of what happened a lot with David throughout this story, and throughout next week for the story we're going to be going down. His pridefulness is it's showing. His selfishness is showing, and I think there was just some stuff that kind of just made him realize, hey, I'm not exactly all powerful like God is. So we're going to start in verse 1. It happened in the spring of the year, the time when the kings go out to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the people of Ammon and besieged Rabbah, but David remained at Jerusalem. This is pretty significant, actually, because first of all, it's during the springtime. During the springtime, that's whenever the kings would normally go out to battle, because the winter it was really cold, and obviously it's the winter, it's really cold. But in the spring, it's just it's fresh air, warmer. And it's just a good time to go out to battle. So I just want to clarify that. And as far as David, he decided to take a break. He decided he was old, and he wanted to take a break, and he took a step out of God's will. He took a step out of his call, and that's not something, that makes him vulnerable to sin. That caused him to be vulnerable to sin. So we'll move on to verse 2. When it happened one evening that David arose from his bed and walked on the roof of the king's house, and from the roof he saw a woman bathing, and the woman was very beautiful to behold. So David sent and inquired about the woman, and someone said, "Is this not Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite?" All right. So one night he's taking his break from his battle. Okay, he decides to take a walk on the roof. It's flat. It's not arched. Like back in the day, it was flat. So in Jerusalem, I guess apparently that was their culture. And so he's walking, trying to get just a breath of fresh air. And he happens. It's one of the higher roofs. It's a really high roof compared to all the other ones. So he was able to look down and see an attractive woman bathing in the shower. And so he sees her and he begins to wonder. And he sends a messenger out to figure out about this woman. And it turns out that it's the wife of Uriah the Hittite, which Uriah the Hittite, it says in the scriptures that he's one of David's mighty men. He's one of those big strong warriors, kind of like I forgot his name. The guy that got his hair cut off. Yeah, Samson. Forgot his name. It's kind of like him. He was pretty strong, and he was one of his good military leaders. And also another fact, Uriah's name, his Hebrew name was "The Lord is my light." That's what the name meant. So I found that very interesting. So the messenger asked. I want to point this out. The messenger asked. He said, "Is this not a woman that's married?" Because I think the messenger got the hint. He noticed the woman bathing. And he's like, "Is this not the woman that's married?" So I just want to throw that out there, that this is the first time out of many times in this story that David chose to ignore God. So moving on to verse 4. Then David sent messengers and took her, and she came to him, and he lay with her, for she was cleansed from her impurity, and she returned to her house. And the woman conceived, so she sent and told David, and said, "I am with the child." So obviously David ended up, sleeping with her, and a big bombshell hits that she ends up getting pregnant. So he doesn't know what to do. And for a while, and then he figures out, he finds this mysterious plan, and this is when everything just goes downhill for David. This guy just does some cold-hearted stuff that, you would never expect out of somebody that's, a man of God and, a very good king, a godly king. Let's see. Yeah, once again, he figures out that she was pregnant, and he can back out right there. He can say, "Okay, whoops, my bad. It was an accident." But he doesn't do that. He chooses to ignore God once again for a second time. Then David sent to Joab, saying, "Send me Uriah the Hittite." And Joab sent Uriah to David. Okay. When Uriah had come to him, David asked how Joab was doing, and how the people were doing, and how the war was prospering. Okay. So David decides to have this idea where he sends Joab, send Joab to get Uriah the Hittite out of the battle to come. And he just decides to have a little conversation with Uriah. And I could just picture this conversation. He's basically asking how the war's going. So it's kind of like, well, how's the war going? Any cuts, wounds, or whatever, and I don't know. I just find that kind of funny, just because he just got his wife pregnant, and he's trying to start a conversation with her, or with him. I don't know. Nobody else might think that's funny, but I thought it was. Verse 8. And David said to Uriah, "Go down to your house and wash your feet." So Uriah departed from the king's house, and the gift of food from the king followed him. So David's plan is this. He brought Uriah back, and he wanted to soften Uriah up. He wanted to send him home, and whenever he says "wash your feet," he basically means to it's the last thing you do. Whenever, I guess, in this time period, it was you wash your feet and you clean yourself, and it was to relax. And he wanted him to be relaxed in his house and lay with Bathsheba, Uriah. Therefore, it takes the blame off David, and then Uriah could be the one that says, "Okay, I conceived this baby." And it gets David off the hook. Moving on to verse 9. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and did not go down to the house. So when they told David, saying, "Uriah did not go to the house," David said to Uriah, "Did you not come from a journey? Why did you not go down to your house?" And Uriah said to David, "The ark and Israel and Judah are dwelling in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. Shall I then go to my house to eat and drink, and to lie with my wife? As you live and as your soul lives, I will not do this thing." So, I want you all to realize what Uriah is doing. The main story is of David, but let's kind of flip the script here and look at what Uriah was doing. Okay, Uriah was going against everything that David told him to do. All right, It was the right thing.